Cool. So what you need, first of all, is obviously your surfboard. You need a wax comb, a towel or a rag, some rubbing alcohol. I've just got lens cleaner here, it does the same thing. Your GoPro casing. So you've got the standard housing, which is fine, no problem with it. You can use the dive housing. A lot of guys use this, it takes away the fish eye and gives a better, clearer picture underwater. You need the waterproof back doors. This is imperative because, I mean, obviously if you get water in here, you're stuffed. The floaty is a must-have. If you don't have the floaty, you're not going to really enjoy yourself in the water. You're going to be worrying about, oh my word, is this thing still on after every bail? So best thing to do is get yourself a floaty. In South Africa, it's going to set you back $80. Really, it's not a problem. You're going to need these bad boys. This is just a simple attachment here. It goes straight onto the GoPro. If you want one with a little bit more height, you can get it from the grab pack. That's where I got it. It's this one. So I'm going to first try out this one. It just gives a little bit more height, so you can get more of a y-axis angle of the board and of yourself or whatever. And obviously you need your surfboard mounts. The GoPro attaches to this one here, and then you're going to use this camera tether, very important, to attach to this little mount, and that attaches to your GoPro itself. That's just for in case this thing rips out or this part rips out of the mount with your GoPro. Your GoPro will still be attached. It'll bang against your board, but you'll be like, oh my word, there's my GoPro, and you just fetch it and you're sorted. It's better than it either sinking or floating away elsewhere. So yeah, that's all you need to mount your GoPro to your surfboard. And here I'm just resting my board in the sun. What you want is no wind, and preferably a 12 o'clock midday vibe where the sun's right up above head. That's around about the hottest time of the day, so then it peels off the wax much better. It's nice and soft to take off. This is going to take a while. I only did this now at 5 o'clock. But it shouldn't take more than 10 minutes with the sun directly overhead. And then, once it gets nice and soft, it's easy to peel off, and you can make it nice and clean. You just want to take off the wax in like just the general area of where your GoPro is going to go, the mount. I'm just taking off a whole lot here. I pretty much need to re-wax my board anyway. But as you can see, I got it relatively soft, so that it all comes off quite nicely. Just like that. It actually didn't take me that long. I thought it was going to take me more than 10 minutes or so, but it's quite hot today, so I'll just clean this all off. Bam, looking good. There you go. Just take off there. So I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put it just yet, but it's going to be around here somewhere. I'm going to leave this in the sun just a little bit longer, just to make sure it's all off. You don't want to be stuck with a whole lot of wax right underneath your mount. It's going to fall off for sure. So let's hold that down. There you go. Jeez, looks like a brand new board underneath. Cool. And here now I've got my towel, rag, whatever, and my lens cleaner. And the reason I'm using lens cleaner is because it also contains ethanol, and I just didn't happen to have Windex or rubbing alcohol or whatever. This is really cheap to get, so it shouldn't be a problem. Just go to any optometrist, whatever. But preferably, I think, just use rubbing alcohol. Don't resort to this really. It does say keep away from heat or fire, out of reach of children, not for use on contact lenses. It doesn't say anything about surfboards, so should be fine. I'm gonna spray a bit over here, just the general area, pretty much everywhere here that I think the GoPro might go. So I'm gonna spray this on. and this just gets rid of any of the unwanted little wax residues and stuff like that. Evaporates really quickly, so I'm just gonna pop that back on. There you go, and just rub it in. You can really feel some of the stuff getting torn off, getting there. There you go. This is probably the cleanest I've ever seen my board. And then when this is done, you are all set to go and stick on your mounts. Okay, now your issue is to position your mount. You definitely want it on the stringer, and it's kind of where along the stringer, up and down, do you want your mounts. Obviously the higher up you put it, the better view of yourself you're going to get. But if you want it pointing forward, you're not going to get much of the board, and it's quite lacquer to get a bit of the board in here. Just to check where you're going, and also, when it dips under, you don't want so much impact onto the GoPro. I don't know why, but I just think that wouldn't be the best idea. Okay, so another thing is, I see a lot of guys on YouTube, they're talking about where must you position this mount so that your camera lens is centered. Now, the problem I have with that is, sure, if you move your mount off center, so it's not on the string anymore, to say over there, then you can see your lens will be perfectly in center, pointing at you. But if you then had to put your camera the other way around, then it's totally off center. It's completely, down that side. So I would prefer to keep the mount in center, and then you got best of both worlds. I mean, it's a little bit off center here, and when it's pointing this way, it's a little bit off center there. It's really not an issue. The other thing is, you have to think about which way your GoPro is going to be pointing most of the time. I personally want to make my GoPro point forwards instead of at myself. I mean, sometimes I'd like to have a lacquer session where I can just work on my technique and then see where my feet are standing, whatever. But most of the time I want to take footage of what's happening in front of me. If that's the case, like me, then you want your camera tether to be behind your camera. So that this funny lip here, where the camera tether mount attaches to, or next to, you want that like this. I'll show you, there you go. Okay, because if your camera is now facing this way, whoops, daisy, that way, then your camera tether will constantly be behind the camera, always. But if it's the other way around, like that, then your camera tether will be in front of the camera, and that's, every now and then you might get this funny black thing that sits in front of your camera in your footage. So for me, it's going to be this way around, just like that. Okay, depending on your rocker, your mount's going to either be up and down, and try and get the flattest part of the board, because of, pretty much this thing is flat. You don't want it to be going this way or up and down. That's not your best idea. Okay, so we're going to peel off little red stuff. Man, this stuff is a mission. It's almost like peeling off that red stuff on the cheese. No one needs that red stuff. Okay, this stuff is really sticky, so once it's on, like, there's no going back. Okay, I want my camera tether behind, that's fine, in the center, and I'm thinking over here. I have got the raised attachment, but I'm thinking, what happens if I want the other attachment? So I'm gonna go just over here on the stringer. Remember, you definitely want the most strength you can get. That's right in the center of your GoPro, not the center of the lens, the center of the GoPro. Okay, so I think that's gonna be it. Let's stick this baby down. Okay, just get a bit of a, there you go. Stick it down, stick it down. Cool. Yeah, we can check there. Sorted. Okay, let's put the camera tether one on now. Okay. Camera tether is really important to attach, and I'll show you just how to attach it just now. I've seen a lot of guys don't bother with the camera tether. I suppose it's a personal preference. I mean, if you don't want your GoPro hitting your board, you're worried about dings and stuff, then forget about it, really. I mean, you will see the floaty floating around. I mean, that's not an issue, but it is a personal preference. There you go, that's pretty fresh. There you go, cool. You can check here. There you go, sorted. That is it. Not a problem. Okay, now you just want this to set for about 24 hours. You do not want to go in straight after you put this thing on at all. Cool. Okay, so now it's time to attach the camera tether. As you can see, I have just re-waxed just below the mount. Just in case I want to stand here, I just used the same wax that I peeled off from the beginning there. Okay, so now to attach the camera tether, I'm going to put this little loop through here, and then I want the knot that they've made to be on this piece here. So I'm just going to bring the loop through here, like that. There you go, nice and tight, done. And the other piece here, now this is what some videos did wrong, and they were corrected. They were told to put it through the GoPro like this, and then the guys from GoPro said no, rather don't do that. So they said you must rather put it through the housing's back door like this, and then you just put it over back door. Done. You can see, make it tight, no problem. Now just to attach the back door to your housing, just you'll see there's a little gap there. That's where the little tether goes, in between there. So get that in. There you go, sorted. Okay, and now it's just for the attachment. Now I wanted to use this one, the one that gives a little bit more height, but then I saw that it's not gonna, little space is not gonna go in there. Yeah, it's not gonna work really as well as I thought it would. So I'm going to instead, just for my first time now, I'm going to use this one instead. Just the normal attachment. So very easy. As you can see, you just slot it in like that. There you go, done. And then it's time to attach the GoPro. See, GoPro's in. Put in your little screwfy like that. Okay, and then this bad boy goes inside here. And now this stops, the rattling, just in case there is any, and it stops the clips from opening up sideways, inwards like that, and then slipping out. Okay, and then that little loop will just go over the screw. Done. Tighten the GoPro itself. And there you go, that's it, done. Sorted.